Let folks in. We're letting folks in.
Good morning.
Hey,
How are you this morning?
no complaints on my end.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Good morning, morning. Hi, Erin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh,
I know you want to see our smiley faces, but I'm gonna go away while I eat, and then I'm gonna put my face back on here.
I know. I got the Cynthia. I'm like, I got some yogurt here.
It's gonna be like 2 minutes tops.
Okay, Erin.
You read that thing about Duro
About
from
who?
the help desk yesterday?
All right. And admit. Okay, there we are.
I'm gonna have to hop off at 9. I'm gonna have to hop off at 9:30. There was a little Katie's getting onboarded for the locker room, so I need to be on the onboarding call. So I'm just letting you know that they switched the time on me.
Very good. All right. And we'll give it about one more minute here as we let some more people in. Getting connected.
Listen this work.
Exactly. That's how I feel some mornings too. Oh,
Yes.
all right. Beautiful. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Morning.
All right. I see some thumbs up. Very good. Glad to hear it. Hey, we are 75% of the way through track. Give yourself a hand real quick.
Busy.
75% of the way through, and you're still here.
Yay!
Feel bad.
That's good news. That's good news. I
Yeah.
would love to know from some of you as we kind of get started today, and we're still letting some people in, what has been your biggest takeaway so far from all of it? Not this week specific, but just so far. Somebody share with me.
I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
It's been drilled into me for 2 years, and it's taken too long to catch on. But the importance of calling the leads lickety split. I'm definitely seeing the effects. The times I put it off, not even worth calling. So do it ASAP. It's been drilled into my head for 2 years, and it's finally catching on. So
There we go.
that's my biggest takeaway for me personally.
Beautiful.
We can all learn new things. I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Who else? Somebody wants to share.
I mean, I guess for me, it's about tracking numbers. You know, you think you talk about people, and then when you actually track them, you're like, wait, how many people did I actually track? And I'm still struggling a bit, like what counts, what doesn't count. I talked to my brother, he doesn't count. If I talk to my best friend, does she count? Does she only count once a month? So I'm working on how to track things exactly. But now I have some systems set up so I can see, wait, I thought I talked to them, but it's actually been 2 months. So, you know, having systems, having ways to notice it, track it, that's kind of my biggest thing I'm getting from you guys is organize and track.
Very good. Systems
Great.
are important. Absolutely.
Making my ears sing and ring and be so
Wait a
happy
minute.
to say that.
Is that why this is called track?
Mic drop.
Revelation pours forth. All right, who else?
Mhm.
I can definitely say that networking more, you know, following up more, just staying on top of things a little bit more there's been some eye openers in terms of how much more you can do, and you know that even meeting with vendors and all that is important, and kind of making your circle bigger than just trying to chase down leads or anything. The tracking, I still struggle with myself a little bit to stay on top of it.
Mhm.
I do it horribly in the gym too, but instilling better habits, I guess, is the ultimate goal, is what we're working on. And then developing systems along with it. It takes me a minute to catch up with it sometimes and kind of get on top of it, but there's been definitely a lot of like aha moments in terms of what I need to be doing. And we all know what we need to be doing, but what I can do better and instill those habits along with it.
Nice. Thank you,
Sure.
Iris.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good stuff. Who else? Let's keep going. I want some more.
Do we have to start picking?
Maybe. Here, you pick somebody. I'm looking for something here real quick, Kit.
Oh, I gotta pick somebody? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna pick Peter Gay. Are you on? Can you hear me?
Up.
Can you hear me, Peter Gay?
1 second. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm on.
I'm
Okay,
picking on you
so-
because you're also a broker. So tell me how the track has affected your personal business with your own sales, and how's it affected your brokerage?
Okay, so if you actually follow track, you will see improvement. Like the most important thing to remember, you have to put action in order to get results. So if you do the weekly modules and do what you're supposed to do, you'll definitely see an increase. As a broker who's still in production, I actually struggle because I have to break my week in half. I do 2 days of personal sales and then 3 days of brokerage work.
Yep.
So all in all, just want to say, keep doing it. You'll see the results, even if it's not immediate.
Yeah. And how have the results affected your brokerage? You've been able to bring people into your brokerage, I know.
Yes, we are at 3 currently because we just started recruiting, and they're waiting to actually start the track program, but they're connecting on all of the weekly meetings and doing all of that. And everybody is doing the 5 for 5.
Beautiful.
So they're finding a lot of success with that. People who were, because some of my agents are actually, they've been in the industry for a while, but they just weren't seeing results. And now they're actually getting appointments. They're actually getting clients. So always encourage them, do the steps. It'll work.
Beautiful. All right, that was my person. Now you can pick one more, Devin.
There you go. But I love what she just said there, though, that you have to put the action in to get it out.
Yep.
It's
And the-
amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I think I've gone through track, I don't know, maybe this is my 6th time in the track plus anyway, like going through, well, track and track plus. And it's amazing what you pick up every time. It's something different. Like I love, Iris said, a new habit that you're
Mhm.
putting in, and then the next time you'll get a little better at that, and then the next time you get a little better at that. It's you'll learn something. I know Rebecca Pace, this is your 2nd or 3rd time in track. 2nd, yeah. And I know you can speak to it. Each time you hear something that you're like, this time I'm going to implement this. It's just you
Mhm.
can't do enough. You just can't do enough at once, and track is not enough.
And that's one of the reasons why, number one, if you're not a regular client and you just bought track, you get it for a year, right?
Mhm.
And then if you're a regular client, we ask you guys to consider going through it again during the course of the year. And maybe you don't do it every single quarter, because I get that can be a little overwhelming sometimes, but doing it at least twice a year, even though it takes an entire quarter, because you're going to refine skills, because you're going to find something that, oh, I didn't pay attention to that as much, because you're focusing on certain things in your business at a specific moment, and that's going to change. So consider putting this on your schedule for later in the year. Maybe not spring market, which is coming up, but maybe after that, and get ready to do it again so that you can refine processes, and so that you can maybe find areas of weakness that, oh, I didn't focus on that as much as I should have going through it the last time. Because I think that happens to all of us, right? Yes, it's 12 weeks, but there's stuff every week coming at us. And it's hard when you have other things going on to focus on all of it. We get that, and that's okay. So I want to remind you, if you feel like, oh, I've missed some stuff, I didn't get every video done, I haven't done every challenge, that's all right. I don't want to tell you don't go after it and don't do it, but that's all right. Keep going. Keep doing something. Keep looking for something that you can implement and keep running the play. Right? Even if you walk away with one thing, okay, I'm going to do this, just 5 to 25. If that's all you get out of this, right? Keep running that play. If you walked away from, open houses with, okay, I've got some new ideas that I can go and make my open houses really great and successful. And you go out there and you have great, successful open houses. That's great. If you got some systems in place to help you track, as has been shared, that's great. Whatever it is, focus on it, expand it. But here's the thing that I want to hit on for just a moment before we start sharing some other stuff and talking about this week, is that this is your business. Okay, it's not my business. It's not Kit's business. I see Beth down here in the corner. It's not her business. At the end of the day, if you fail and don't make money, you don't affect my family, but you affect your family. And so I want to ask you to think about, what are you doing? Okay, we're going into what is traditionally the busiest time of the year, spring market. In my market, we've had more listings yesterday than we've had in the last 7 months come on market.
Wow.
Okay, so it is starting to turn. We are starting to see things. There are rumblings out there in other markets as well. You've got to be prepared, having your system to track, having your follow-up procedures in place, having your buyer's consultation, buyer's packets ready, your listing consultation and your listing packet ready, all of that stuff, because this is your business. And so you committed to this process, and yes, you're here on this call, but there are so many of you that have never reported a single number. All right, you've not engaged in anything in the Facebook group. Some of you haven't engaged a whole lot in here, and that's fine. Again, you don't hurt me. I get paid whether you show up or not. Okay, but you're hurting you. And this week is all about running your business like a business. And I posted a quote that's from the session this week that said, if you treat your business like a business, it'll pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it'll cost you like a hobby. And that's the thing that I want to ingrain in you today. This is not a hobby business. All right, go out and sell antiques, make crafts, do stuff like that if you want a hobby business, okay? You're paying dues, you're paying for access to your MLS and your Supra, you're paying for business cards, you're paying for a website, you're paying E&O insurance, you're paying, y'all have occupational licenses where you are? Bane of my existence. I hate occupational licenses more than anything else in the world. It is just stealing money from me. But I have to pay occupational licenses. Basically, everywhere I do business, I have to pay that specific city an extra tax at the end of the year. $5,000 out the door just for doing business last year. It makes me mad. But we have all these fees. We have all these expenses. You've got your promotion stuff that you're doing. You've got your flyers, all of this stuff that you're putting into your business. Why would you not? I don't care if you take a notebook and a blank piece of paper and write somebody's name, phone number, and email address, and that's how you track. I don't care if you have a spreadsheet. I don't care what it is. Why the hell would you spend so much money and time to create this business and not act like it's a business? You got to ask yourself that question, guys. Again, I know we're here to encourage you, and I don't want this to not be encouraging, but I want to challenge you for just a moment as we are 9 weeks in. We're 75% of the way done. And every week, those of you that are reporting, I didn't watch the videos. I didn't do the challenges. I didn't make 25 contacts. You're not hurting me. You're not hurting Kit. You're hurting you. And since I'm looking at the rest of the stuff that is being reported, we're not writing offers. We're not getting listings. I mean, we've got some, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, oh, I didn't get it done this week, but I signed 5 listings and wrote 15 offers. Okay, great. You didn't have time to watch any videos. Go work on that. That's fine. But if that's not where you are, what is going on in your business? What is going on in your schedule that is keeping you from running your business like a business? I understand some of you have other jobs, We all got families. All right. But you have to look at your schedule. We talked about time management. You have to put this stuff on here. This is when I'm doing my lead gen. This is when I'm doing my follow-up. This is when I'm doing my training. This is when I'm doing my appointments. And you have to go do it. Peter Gay said this, you have to run the play to get the results. You have to run it is not going to magically happen. All right. Deals are not going to fall into your lap. Houses are not going to just magically appear and apparate in front of you and say, here, come and list me. That is not going to happen. You may get that from your mama or your best friend once or twice in your life. But all you said, I want 6 figures. I want to change my life. I wanted it when we got started. You have to do it. And you can do it. That's the thing. Every single one of you on this call, you are capable, you are qualified, you have the ability, you have the knowledge, you have the potential. We're here to help you refine your skills. You can do it, but you have to do it. I can't do it for you. Can't do it for you. Beth can't do it for you. Your broker can't do it for you. You have to do it. And this week is all about running your business like a business. So before we talk about some of this stuff, I just want to challenge you with this. Are you doing that? And if the answer is no, then right now you need to decide, am I going to fix it or am I going to go do something else? Because if you're treating this like a hobby, you will go broke. Mentally, emotionally, relationally, and financially, guys. That's why we have such high turnover. That's why we have such high burnout in this industry. That's why so many people, the stats are that 5 years in, almost 9 out of 10 people who start off will not still be in the business. All right. We don't want that for you. That's what Track is about. That's what our whole program is about. But at the end of the day, you have to run the play. All right. Thank you.
That was a heavy gavel.
Now, we talked about some successes, some ahas, but let's think about this week, okay? Talking about running your business like your business. What is working for some of you? What have you seen improvement in? Everybody's like, hang on, talk now. Not saying nothing.
I have one thing.
Go ahead.
You know, I am in my mid-30s and a lot of my friends are the same age and millennials, I guess. So I work with a lot of first-time home buyers. And also because a lot of them are millennials, they do not like to pick up the phone. So when I call, so I've created like a little script that I adjust depending on one person. And a few of them who I've tried calling who haven't been answering, I have been texting instead. And that's been working great so far.
Excellent.
Yeah, and thank you, Meg, for bringing that up. And when we say pick up the phone, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a phone call. It's the energy that goes out to create the contact. So 100%, a lot of millennials won't. A lot of people in general don't pick up the phone because they're just like, if people know who they are, they'll know what mode of communication that they appreciate. So we tell people to do them all. You know, we suggest you do them all. So when we thank you for the clarification, when we say pick up the phone, that doesn't necessarily mean the phone call. It could be whatever. We know on this little thing that almost every mode of communication, including face-to-face, even though it's FaceTime, is available.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's the energy for the engagement.
Yes. Now, the thing is, if you're not reaching people, try multiple ways.
Yep.
All right. Text them. Text everybody. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? They don't respond.
And I
All
just
right.
want to add a few of
Yeah.
those. Sorry, I'm moving around.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say a few of those people, their number was, said wrong number. And even then I would say, hey, well, if you need anything, let me know, or feel free to pass my number around. And I appreciate it even from a stranger on a wrong number. So
Sure.
anyway, I get it.
Absolutely. Again, the worst they can say is no, thank you. Right. That doesn't hurt you. I'm looking through some of the comments in the chat. Yeah, following up with vendors and former clients. Obviously, staying in touch with your vendor partners. You know, if you've got a lender that you've worked with a lot, like I have one lender that I send about 50% of my business to. After several years of that, I had the conversation with him. Okay, I'm starting to expect you to send something back to me.
Mhm.
I feel like that's fair.
Also, I
Right.
wanted to follow up that a lot of those people I've called that I've reconnected with, I've gone out with to get breakfast or coffee.
Sure.
So even if it doesn't initially start out or lead to real estate, at least I'm at the top of their mind. At some point in the conversation, they're going to say, "How are you?" And I bring up real estate. And,
Mhm.
you know, I went to brunch 3 times this week in the same spot, 3 different days, just down the street from my house. And it was great to catch up with old friends and, you know, like we try to do, stay at the top of their mind in case
Mhm.
something does come up, you know. And I've had maybe not sold a house yet, but I've had a couple of people say, because in my text I always say, hey, anything real estate related, even if you don't live in the state, happy to help you. And a couple of people have been like, well, actually, do you know a dog sitter? Actually, do you know a window guy? And I've been able to help people out like that, even if it's not immediately a sale right now.
Totally.
May,
That's awesome.
that's awesome. I'm curious about one other thing. Have you talked to the servers so that they probably are getting to know, well, here's May and she's got a client. Have you
That's a
given
good-
them your card?
I haven't. And you know what? I had the same server twice last week and we were joking about it. I'd seen her. So that's a good idea. I should do that. Thank
Give them
you.
a pen. They always need pens.
Yeah, because I've got that's a good idea. Because I've got a diner down the street from me and that's where I like to meet people.
Mhm.
Oh, they know me by now. I should do that. Pens are a great idea.
Even if you don't have your own pen with your name on it, your
Yeah.
brokerage probably has a pen somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Carry some around. Absolutely.
that's a great
Very
idea.
good. Very good. Ira said going on video more has been a huge stepping stone, right? That's important. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Aaron talked about that several weeks ago. It doesn't have to always be scripted and perfect, just being natural. Very important. Sharing some information.
I was gonna say on May's comment, nothing wrong with leaving your business card with that big fat tip too.
Yes. Yes. Don't leave it if you're going to be skimpy on the tip.
Oh, no.
Exactly. It's gotta be a fat tip.
I used to tell my church people the same thing. We give out invite cards for our service. I said, don't leave the invite card for your server if you're going to leave a terrible tip. I don't want them to know you come to my church.
I'm a good tipper. Just want to say.
Same thing with your business.
As a bartender, I
approve.
Last thing you need is them going on Instagram or Facebook and posting your business card and be like, don't use this person. They're a terrible tipper. Not all publicity is good publicity.
Yes, definitely always tip well. And especially since I saw her twice, I tipped her extra the second time.
Iris also said about leaving your business cards on bulletin boards. You know, it's amazing to me in this digital age how many places still have bulletin boards, guys.
Mhm.
Or how many times have you ever gone into the Chinese restaurant and you've seen business cards sitting out there? Right?
Mhm.
Why is your business card not sitting out there? Like, I come here every week, dude. Right? Ask the question. You know, sometimes they'll say no. Sometimes they have a special referral agreement. You know, my kid's Taekwondo people. I asked if I could leave some business cards. He's like, no, people pay to put stuff on our counter. All right, fine. But it doesn't hurt to ask. You know, just getting stuff out there. Again, thinking business mindset. It doesn't always have to be, hi, I'm Devin, I'm in real estate. Do you want to buy or sell a house? But looking for those opportunities. Remember, scripts week, what's the easiest script? Hi. Hey. Conversation starter. Very good. What else? What else, I guess I could say it this way, is different about your business now versus 9 weeks ago? Aaron, go.
I've definitely picked up the fact that there's always something I can do. So if I'm gonna I mean, I've got, a couple pages of notes of just little things that I can fill my day with if I haven't already filled in my calendar, prospect for this long, blah, blah, blah for this long. There's so many little things I can fill my time with. If I actually feel like I'm caught up, which I know most of us never feel that way, but what I'm finding is there's lots of little things I can do to fill my day that were getting skipped before. I was only kind of doing the major bullet points. So I'm really trying to work in some of the smaller bullet points in my days now.
Sure, absolutely. Anybody, Jolie just said something about ad placement. Anybody order a lot of pizza? Right? You ever talk to your pizza person, you're the owner of your local pizza place, about sticking a flyer on top of their box?
Our brokerage actually is in a pizza, like the building itself is a pizza place.
Oh, nice.
So that'd be
Pizza
that'd
and
be
a
a great
house.
way to market, and also,
Free pizza with every house purchase. I love that. I love that.
Sure.
What else? Come on, guys, talk to me. What's different? Or even it can be your mindset. It can be something you're doing. It can be actual results. Like I started this and now I'm seeing this happen versus 9 weeks ago.
Guess I'll jump on because I was already talking.
Yeah.
So I think just as far as having structure, because I'm a new agent, I'm actually just coming up on a year now. And I'd say the first like 6 months, it was you wake up in the morning, you have an idea of what you want to do, but it's like, what do I do today? I can make calls. If I have appointments, then, if I have 3 appointments that day, obviously that's not going to take up my whole day. So now that I've actually been able to develop with trial and error, not only what am I good at, but also, picking out and structuring my day and structuring the numbers. So like, for instance, I spreadsheet everything. So I make calls every day, whether it's expired calls, circle prospecting calls, and, just hitting that certain number every day. And that's kind of where I've brought the 5 to 25 in is through that. And I try to at least have 5 really good conversations where I get their contact information, I get their email, I'm able to follow up with them. That's a contact for me. And even that has been great because coming up this spring, I mean, most of the sellers that are interested in listing want to do late spring. I'm trying to bring them earlier, but most of them are, in the spring market. But it's just, I mean, it's just crazy the difference just being structured and hitting your daily numbers and making, 50 calls and just hitting that 50 mark every day is huge. So
50 calls a day. I like that. 50 calls a day. That's awesome. Anybody else? One more before we move on? No? Nobody
I'll
else?
go.
All right, go ahead.
So I don't participate very often other than showing up and being very enthusiastic because I support my team. I'm not an agent who produces on the team, but that's the best reason for me to be here. So I can support them with all these tools and ideas. So for me, it's been really rewarding to see their progress. I get to support like May and Iris and some other people. Part of it is the skills and knowledge, but the mindset piece is huge. Showing up and being a part of a community of other people who are really engaged in their business and excited about trying new things. I've seen that ripple effect out through our team. And, I've gotten to see their mindset grow, their skills grow. That's so rewarding for me. And I've been able to grow in my ability to coach them and help them. And that's like my favorite part of being able to show up and support them even better. So that's the best thing.
I love it because it doesn't matter what it is. Like anything that you want to be different or you want to get good at, you've got to do it consistently, right? Like if you want to be good at video games, like my son, you got to play video games. If you want to have a great, healthy body, you got to go and work out, right? Whatever it is. You want to go run a marathon, you don't just go out tomorrow and run 26, whatever it is, miles, craziness, right? You go out and you start doing a couple of blocks, work up to a 5K, a 10K, all those sorts of things. Same thing. Just because I'm not selling, 20 houses, 40 houses, 100 houses today, you got to start with one. And the habits that you develop are the habits that are going to carry over, right? It's all about the consistency, and it's all about keeping the right focus so that when it's working, you don't just coast through it, but you continue to do it. Say, okay, this is easy. But when it's not working, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing, doing the same thing. Absolutely. How about this? What are some of the biggest challenges that you've come up against over the last 9 weeks that I've got to figure this out, or I have figured this out, or I'm in process of figuring this out? Because I know not everything works. Not everything's perfect all the time.
I can speak. For me, it's the schedule. I always
Okay.
just feel like, 2 toddlers, husband, family,
Sure.
life just gets in the way. So
Absolutely.
working on the schedule, I think, is my biggest thing. And still making time for, you can get so bogged down in the nitty gritty that eventually you could have an assistant or somebody do. But
Mhm.
then like, wait, I'm not getting to the gym. Wait, I'm not getting to all the things that also make me feel like I have a life. So yeah,
Mhm.
finding the schedule.
Mhm. And with that, I'm going to say this because this is something that's changed for me in the last year and a half, because my wife also works. She homeschools in the morning, but then she works in the afternoon. And so before, I was very much like, this is a professional job. My kids don't belong here. And now I've made my older 2 kids my showing assistants, right? And I've just accepted the fact that there are times they're going to have to come with me. They turn on the lights. They turn off the lights. Those sorts of things. They help entertain the clients' kids if they've got kids. That was a mindset shift for me. But what happened was it expanded my ability to do stuff, because there were times that I couldn't go meet with clients. I could talk to them on the phone, but I couldn't go show stuff because I got my kids. Anything can be an excuse or it can be an opportunity. It's all about how you look at it. Who else? What other challenges?
I agree with the time, working another job and being it throughout the most of the day. When I come home, it's too late to call people. And sometimes in the morning, it's too early to call people. So I gotta find my niche on where and what time I can make room for calling and contacting people when I'm not at work. So on my days off, I try to focus specifically on calling people.
Sure. Okay.
How early is too early, Joelle?
Well, I go to work for 9, so I don't know if calling before 9 is a good or bad thing, because I know like I said, I bartend, so some days I go in for the morning shift, some days it's the late shift. And if I got a phone call before 9 a.m., I'd be a little upset if it was just a random call, I guess. I mean, if I had a client, it's a different story, but just reaching newer clients.
So have you ever tried to warm those people up with a text and see if you could call them before?
I have not, but that's a good idea.
Right? Because sometimes speed to lead doesn't necessarily mean we're having the conversation right now. Sometimes it's I'm making the connection right now, and I'm setting up. I do this all the time. Like right now it's automated. We're on this call. I have an automated message. My phone rings. It goes out and says, I'm on a call. I will call you back in 30 minutes or in an hour, right? Or, I'm at the stage of my life, I have an ISA to answer my incoming lead call. So I don't even do that. They talk to them. But when you're first starting and you're trying to grow that, you get those leads, shoot them a quick text when you can, or on a break or whatever it might be. Hey, I'm not available right now. I'm at an appointment. They don't need to know you're at another job.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm at
I
an
don't like
appointment.
saying
Can I
that.
call you tomorrow morning? Can I call you tonight? Can I call you on your lunch break? Whatever it might be that works for you.
Okay. Good point.
I just want to add to that. Since I started texting people, I feel like I have gotten more responses back than leaving a voicemail, because I feel like people don't check their voicemails either. And leaving a text, sometimes I'll send them in the morning and I won't hear back from somebody until late at night, and that's fine. And I think that's what it's for. So it has helped me, if that helps you.
I had a haircut appointment the other day and I got there at 9 and the woman at the counter said, "Oh, you didn't get my voicemail? So-and-so called in sick." And guess what I said? "Why didn't you text me?" I didn't even know she called. I had no idea I had a voicemail. because it was early in the morning, I was running around. My response literally was, why didn't you text me?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, bye, Rebecca. Have a great week. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is depending on what their mobile carrier is, if you're a number that's never called them before, some mobile carriers actually block numbers the first time, like they just send you straight to spam. The person doesn't even see your call. But if you're calling and sending a text, and then again, if you're calling again later, which we should be doing some follow-up when we can, right? We're increasing our visibility and we're increasing the chance that it's going to go through. Again, all about running the play and staying consistent. Very, very important.
I have
What
a
else?
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was talking about this morning, actually. So I'm a texter. I'd much rather get texting. I'd much rather text people than call people. But I've always had a feeling that texting isn't personal. Do you get that? Or is that something that maybe because we're in 2022 that people don't think of it as not as personal as calling?
Thoughts? Anybody?
I personally ask people what they prefer. I mean, if it's like a random lead that I'm getting, I bombard them, I give them all the treatment on, email, voicemail, text, blah, blah, blah. But I'll usually say, hey, what's your preferred method of communication? And you can even say like, hey, most people prefer texting, because you do. You can just say, hey, most people prefer texting. Is that cool with you? Or what's your preference? Give them the option.
Cool, thanks,
Absolutely.
Aaron.
Absolutely.
And I even put that in my notes. Like if someone gives me an answer like, oh, I want emails, that goes in my notes because I don't want to call them if they want emails. So I make notes of all that.
I took me a long time to come up with kind of what I was going to say in these texts. So I didn't want to seem too pushy either, because then I didn't want them to think it was some robo text, because I get those and I'm like, oh, I know immediately this is a robo text. So I do adjust them per person, but generally what I say, something like, hey, this is May. It's been a long time. I don't know if you knew, but I've been a realtor for going on 6 years now, and I've made it my goal this year, to help more friends and family. Whether you need the help regarding the home buying process, or you just need a plumber recommendation, I want to help. Is there anything I can help you with right now? And I always end with a question, so I feel like then they feel obligated to text, whether it's, oh, I don't need anything right now, but thank you. Then I usually say, well, keep me in mind if you need anything. And if, do you know anybody else who might need my help? Please feel free to pass along my contact information. And what I started doing is sending, and actually Deb gave me this idea. I started sending, you can make your ID on your, I don't know, I have an Apple phone, you can make like an ID, and I've been using that as like an online business card. And I put my picture on it, and I know my phone number is right there because I just texted them, but I want them to have something that they can pass on to somebody, or, has my picture on it, has my email, has everything, website, that's what I've been doing anyway.
But sorry, do you mean that you were just making like your contact thing on your phone, or are you actually texting them a virtual business card?
No, I'm just using my on your contacts. You can make like essentially a contact for yourself, but like it's your name card, and that's all I've been texting. I did not make a virtual business card, but also this was a tip from Deb. I know they have your number right in front of you when you text them, but when you text that name card, I saved myself as May Ang -realtor, so that whenever they send it, it says, oh, she's they remember that's the realtor, in case I'm just some random number they ended up saving,
Sure, absolutely. Again, all about doing everything you can to reach out to people. When you come into me as a lead, you immediately get a text from my system. Everything goes into my CRM. There is nothing in my life that doesn't flow through my CRM in terms of my business. Everything goes through there. Whether I have to manually input you because we talked in person or you come in as a lead, everything goes through there. And when you come in as a new lead and you're triggered by, coming in as a lead source or something, my system automatically sends you a text. And my text basically says, would you prefer me to call you or do you want to communicate via text? Right? How can I help you? Thanks for reaching out. How would you like to communicate? All right. Then when I get the information, because a lot of times it takes about a minute for my system to then notify me on my phone, then if they haven't responded already, and a lot of times they haven't, I'm reaching out and calling, and I leave a voicemail. And in my voicemail, hey, I already shot you a text, reach back out, let me know how I can help you. You can text me, you can call me, you can email you, you can send smoke signals or carrier pigeons, whatever is easiest for you to communicate, I'm here to help you. Right? And that's the thing, is how do they want to communicate? I had one person say, I want to do everything through WhatsApp. My first question was, what's a WhatsApp? Right? I had to go figure that out. But he's an international client. He didn't want roaming charges. He didn't want extra data charges. Everything's WhatsApp. Okay, fine. How do they prefer? Because it's not about what I prefer as the agent. It's about what they prefer. It really is. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to know that I'm doing everything to meet their needs. What other challenges? Do we have any others that we've been overcoming the last few weeks? And I'm looking for that link, by the way, for the attendance. No other challenges?
Well, I told you that getting on video more and speaking
Mhm.
more and getting more comfortable with that that's been big for me, because I've been wanting to do it, and I know it's a good implementation to get on TikTok more and then use that to your Instagram and use that, on Facebook as well, since a lot of my sphere is on there. And that's been big. And even through our new brokerage, saying like reaching out to clients through a short video message. I started doing that a little bit, just kind of playing with it. I actually reached out to a former client, just saying, hey, could you be my guinea pig? I want to do some more video messaging. Can I send you one? You tell me what you think. And, we're going to meet up again in the next couple of weeks, have a beer together or something and catch up. But it was like, hey, here you go. Here's my video message for you. Like, I thanked him for this coffee mug you got me when I helped him buy something last year. And I was like, hey, I just want to thank you again. It was like a short 20-second video message. And then I texted him, was like, hey, I'm going to send this to you. Tell me what you think. And getting different forms of messaging out like that's a new one for me, but I really like it because it makes it more personal without just the text.
Absolutely.
And it gets people to respond to you like, hey, tell me what you think. Like, even if you have to criticize me, I can take it,
Again, sometimes a little feedback, positive and negative feedback can be good for us, right? Helps us grow. Excellent. All right. How about this thought? What do you see as the value of tracking your numbers? Those of you that have started this, those of you that I'm putting a system in place versus what I was doing before. How is this helping you?
It shows how many contacts you have to have per person. So I think one of the really big things I took out of it was the 12 contacts. I think you guys said 12 on average. And it just shows like the percentages of the actual, return on that client of like the first contact is like, I don't even remember, it's like less than 5%. And then as you progress per contact and you get up towards that like 8 to 12 range, which is really, when I first saw that, it's kind of upsetting to look at and go, I'm going to have to follow up with somebody 10 times for them to like list with me or them to consider business with me. But it's true, because even people who you talk to and are like, I've had clients before where, like they wanted to move out west and they're thinking, they're timing it and their kids are in school and you follow up with them. And then, 4 or 5 follow-ups later, now you're talking about, moving them earlier than later. And so now they went from a 3-year client to a 6-month client, just like that. So it's like, it's just really nice to be able to see how many contacts that you have. So if you have 100 contacts and then, 50 of those turn over to warm leads after 4 contacts or 3 or that 12 number. So it's good to actually kind of see your numbers and what actually works. And it makes sense when you look at it on paper.
It does.
just-
Yeah. It's a lot of context. It's a lot of follow-up. It is. Nobody's going to tell you it's not. But again, go back to how many of you did the agent action plan before, where you broke down your budget, your numbers, and I want to make this much money and how many contacts do I have to have and all that. Again, when you think about the dollars per transaction, the dollars per hour, right? If you were working at Target, if you were, selling thingamabobs door to door, if you were, managing the quickie lube on the corner in your neighborhood, and you're making $20 an hour, $25 an hour, but you're working 9 to 5, right? You don't have the control of the schedule. Here in this business, sure, I've got to spend time following up. I got to spend time calling the same people over and over, texting the same people over and over again. But at the end of the day, I'm getting $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 check, depending on the market I'm in. And how much time does it actually take? So if I have to call Zach, you're the first person I see here on my screen because you just spoke last. So if I have to call Zach 12 times, call and text Zach 12 times before he ends up buying or selling something with me, how long do you think the average call actually takes?
How long? Probably it's just touching base with people too. And
Right.
some calls might take 15 minutes, which are good because you get more information. I just let people go. I try to format the conversations where you're leading the conversation, but they're doing all the talking. And so most of my calls I get on, I have the set amount of questions I want to ask. And then sometimes it just gets off and it could be 5 minutes, could be 3 minutes, or it could be a 30-minute conversation, but you're building so much rapport. It's almost worth 3 calls in that one call.
Absolutely. And that's assuming that you get a hold of them every single time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
if you call 12 times, do you get a hold of them all 12 times usually?
Not every time, no. And just like what May was talking about too, even with contacts that I had before who I've talked to on the phone, I'll call them. And if I've gone through to them, I'll send them a text. Sometimes I'll send them a text or give them a call. So it's no matter what those 12 are, but yeah, I voice text everything, voice email, voice text. I just grab my phone and it's great. I can send a paragraph in about less than a minute. You're done. You're just, following up with them, make it personal. How are the kids doing? And ask a question so they follow back up with you. And then it takes about 1 to 5 minutes. But yeah, over the course of the time that you spend with that client, it may be that 12 number, but 12 and an average of 5, that's an hour. 5 minutes, 12 times, that's an hour. You make $6,000 off the sale.
Exactly. And that's where I was going with this. So you spend, if you say 5 minutes on average, some will be more, some will be less. So you spend 60 minutes on those 12 calls, assuming it's 12. And you all know that it's not 12 every time. But assuming it's 12, that's 60 minutes. Let's say you get to the point that you go show. How many houses do you show on average if you're working with a buyer? And I know right now it's probably a little crazier than normal, but on average, how many houses do you think you probably show a buyer before you're writing a contract, getting an offer accepted? Beth is saying 10. Aaron says 10. All right, Zach says somewhere around 8. Ira says 10. Okay, so 10. How long is your average showing? From the time you leave your house, you go and show, you get back, you're done. How long do you think you're spending? 1 hour, Aaron says. Okay. So let's go with Aaron, and I saw Ira say about an hour or two. So let's say you've got 10 hours of showing invested. All right. You've got 1 hour of communication leading up to the showing. How long does it take you once you're actually under contract to do addendums, to handle inspections, contingencies? How much time are you putting into the file under contract? 4 hours. Okay, 4 or 5 hours. Yeah. For me, it's about 30 minutes because I have a transaction coordinator. Once I go under contract, I talk to her 2 times a week. About 5 minutes. I don't touch anything until she tells me it's time to go close. Best decision I ever made in my life. All right. So, but 4 hours. So you've got 10 hours invested in showing. You've got 4 to 5 hours invested during the file. You've got 1 hour invested in prep, and you're going to make $6,000, $8,000. How long are you gonna work at Target before you're gonna make that kind of money? Right? See, that's the kind of mindset we have to have when we think, I don't want to call this person for the 6th time. You know what? I don't want to go spend 8 hours scanning crap at a conveyor belt with people yelling at me because I'm being too slow. That's what I don't want.
Choose your
I
heart.
could spend 1 hour making phone calls over the course of the lifetime of this deal, or I can spend hour after hour after hour to make the same kind of money. Right? Always come back to, what is the trade-off here? Well, I don't like follow-up. This is hard. This takes a long time. What's the trade-off? 60 minutes of time really isn't that much, guys, is it? Not at all. Not at all. But you don't know that if you're not paying attention. If you don't know how long it takes you, if you don't know how long your follow-up is, if you don't have processes in place, what am I talking about? What am I pushing towards? Again, we talked a few weeks ago about always having a next step. Whenever I'm texting, whenever I'm emailing, whenever I'm calling somebody, am I doing it to check in sometimes? Yes. But I'm not just, hey, Beth, I'm just checking in today. I always want something from Beth. I want a response. I want some direction. I want her to tell me yes, no, go away, whatever it might be. I want something back. But all of that is pre-planned. I never wing it with potential clients or clients. There's always a goal. Have you talked to the lender? Have you looked at the search portal? Have you seen anything you liked recently? Are you alive because you haven't responded to me for the last 2 weeks? All right. I literally am in that place right now with somebody we were supposed to close 2 weeks ago. Not responding to me, not responding to the lender, not responding to the title agency, hasn't posted on her Facebook account in 2 weeks. The last day we talked was the last time she posted anything. And she's posted multiple times a day. I'm literally leaving messages like, let me know you're alive. If we have to cancel the deal, we'll cancel the deal. Let me know you're alive.
Although I will add that when you are fully in the business, there will be moments where you will have a sense that I wonder what's going on with thus and so.
Sure.
It's not on the regular schedule to call them yet, but if you get those little urgings to reach out to somebody, do it, because sometimes your intuition is spot on and they'll say, you called me at just the right time. How'd you know? I didn't, but I had this sense that I needed to talk to you. So I'm calling to say, hey, why did I need to talk to you today? And yeah, that's my own quirky nature. But every now and then, if you get that little quiet urge to add to the pattern, do it.
Absolutely.
You know what? That's funny, Beth, because that's happened to me a couple times. So now when I do get that urge, I at the very least do send a text, and that's happened a couple times.
Good. You'll be amazed how things start coming together in ways that were beyond anything that you would have imagined. But it doesn't happen if you're not doing the stuff to begin with.
Yeah. I'm going to show you guys this. This is in the locker room toolkit. I do not know what it's called, what we renamed it. So don't ask me, but it's in there. I'll find it and I'll post it in the group. So this is my spreadsheet and I gave it to the locker room. I got it from somewhere else and we've adapted it. But my follow-up, some of you said, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So I put everybody in, my warm prospects, my hot prospects. Those are people I'm working with. This is a working template that I use to show people. All right. And then what's under contract right now, what's closed. All right. I keep that running total. So I can always look at my spreadsheet and know exactly what's going on. Now, if you're not a warm prospect, you don't go on my spreadsheet. If you're a new lead, you're just in my CRM until I talk to you. I know there's some verifiable interest. We're going to talk about working together. You go on my warm prospect list. My warm prospects are people that get called every week. My hot prospects are people that get called at the beginning of the week and the end of the week, unless we're talking more like we're out showing stuff. My cold people, my new leads, that sort of stuff, they are not on here yet. They get called, they get followed up with, they go into the regular program. But my warm prospects, I have a specific time. I'm calling them. I'm checking in. What's going on? Because I know they're going to convert. Most of them will convert. My hot prospects, probably 9 out of 10 of them are going to convert, but I have to stay on top of it, right? This spreadsheet is in the toolkit. So if you say, I don't have anything, I need a system, I don't have anything, it's in there. I'll find out what we called it, and I'll make sure that we put that in the group for the Facebook group for you so you can get it. So you can use that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but start somewhere. Start somewhere. How many Shark Tank fans do we have? Any Shark Tank fans in here? I love Shark Tank. It's my favorite show. Mark Cuban, who owns my least favorite basketball team, but that's another thing, said this. He said, treat your clients like they own you, because they do. That's the guy who's a billionaire. And he has that mentality. I have to respond the way my clients want. I have to respond when my clients want. I have to respond how my clients want. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So I want you to think, how can you be intentional this week? Growing your mindset, growing your business, setting yourself up for success, setting yourself up to better track. You are the CEO of your business. I don't care if you work for a brokerage or a team, you are still the CEO of your business. Your team leader, at the end of the day, you can be gone, they're going to carry on. And they'll probably find somebody to replace you. They will. All right. You are the CEO of your business. So what can you do this week to continue to be intentional? What can you start tracking? What can you refine? Who can you pick up the phone and make a call to or a text to? What can you do? I want you to take a moment, think about it. I would love somebody to either share or put something in the chat. This is what I'm going to do to push my business forward. It's not just about showing up on the call. That's great. What are you going to do this week so that next week you are further along? Your business is growing. If all it is I'm going to go listen to all the track videos because I haven't been doing that. Growing that mindset, expanding your knowledge base. That's fine. Do something. You don't have to do everything. Do something. What are you going to do? You need some ideas?
I'm definitely going to be active on social media more.
Yes. Good.
As far as definitely posting every day. I'd like to get involved in video content, but definitely posting every single day, and then spending at least, I like to spend, whenever I post something, 30 minutes I'll block out. If it's not a busy day, I'll block out even 45, maybe an hour of just going through and just going to hashtags like hashtag real estate. I'm from New Hampshire, so hashtag NH real estate, realtor tips, whatever it is, going through, commenting on every single post, liking every single post, sharing posts, putting things on my stories. And even like, you can even go into the hashtag and just put like, I really like if it's a just listed, if it's hashtag just listed, probably going to be a realtor that just put up a property. You could literally put like, congratulations on the listing, looks really beautiful. I'm sure it'll sell quickly. 10 fire emojis. Copy that, paste it, scroll, like, comment, go next. I can do 100. And then all those will follow you back, and then they comment, and it's great. I mean, plus it's good because you're supporting other people, and especially when you're in New Hampshire as well, or in your state or even market. I'll go through builders. I'll go to everybody they're following. It's just leaving your 2 cents everywhere. So I'm definitely gonna do that this week to try to get more active on social media. And yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to show you guys a screen. If you need some ideas, you're like, I don't know what to do this week to push things forward. What can you do? Practical stuff. Practical stuff. You got a business account for your money. Some of you may need to do that. Are you setting aside your taxes? I just paid my taxes. Thank God in heaven that I was setting aside money for that. Would have been a really sad day. Now, do you have a CPA or a tax advisor, right? Practical stuff. Are you tracking your expenses? You can do that on a spreadsheet. You can do that on an app. I literally do it in a folder, and I just give it all to my CPA, and I pay her $100 to catalog it at the end of the year. I don't care, right? Are you tracking that stuff? It's not just about your clients and your numbers, right? Have you completed your post-licensing education if you're a newer agent? All right, this is something that can get away from a lot of us. Oh, I'm learning this, I'm learning this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. You know, in my state, it's different in different states, but in my state, you got 2 years. A lot of people put it off, and you know what they're doing? December, their second year, so they don't get their license suspended and their MLS access revoked. They're taking 10 hours of post licensing on Christmas. Don't do that. Right? Do you have a database? Do you have a CRM? Well, I don't have one I like. Use what you got. If your broker provides it and you don't love it, use it until you can either find something else that you can afford or create something else that you like better. But use it. Put stuff in there and use it. All right. What else do you need to do? Find something this week. One thing. One thing. Beth's going to go deliver Girl Scout cookies or A+ pints. I like that. Practice your listing meetings. Aaron's going to work on practicing his listing presentations. Zach's going to do social media. Doesn't matter what it is. Go push something forward this week, guys. This is your business. You grow it, and you can do it. Any final thoughts before we go? All right. Well, then have a great week. I'll find that spreadsheet information. I'll put it in the group for you so everybody knows where to look. Have a good one, guys. Packets? Yep, absolutely, Dawn. Absolutely.